just for the purpose of the session, we want to make sure that everyone has a safe space. So if you're new to me, I'm an old girl. I've been around quite a bit of time in the consulting space. I started out in marketing and advertising, innocent smoothies. Before they were acquired, that was one of my first programs and projects. And Skype, which started off as Kazaa, that was one of my first projects. They went to universities and went at grassroots. So I've been in the digital space, and I just ascended into project management and then eventually into technology. So I'm fractional, meaning that I split my time. My main goal is to help SMEs, enterprises, leaders, individuals to achieve sustainable growth. And hopefully that starts off as organic. So organic, again, is a method that's not paid for. So workshop objectives, of course, we're aiming to get through all of this. Now, if we don't for any reason, all of the tools, I think someone's not muted. I just need to double check. I can hear some feedback and it's just a little difficult. Okay. So the purpose of the masterclass is just to ensure that you build a powerful, searchable LinkedIn profile that attracts organic, high-quality leads, gives you opportunities. I'm going to be sharing some tips on sections, the key sections that I believe help you to get featured, and you will get the opportunity to utilize some of the AI tools. The goal is to turn your LinkedIn profile into a passive lead funnel. Most people are just literally leaving it as digital real estate or just using it as a CV or portfolio. I want to give a few tips that I found with neuroscience and psychology behind visibility to focus on conversion optimized copy. Now, I came back from Dubai, and if it wasn't for that neuroscience, some of my deals at the moment have just been because of this. So it's about crafting the content with call to actions that resonate. We don't want to sound like ChatGPT. We don't want to sound like some script, but we do want to influence key corporate buyers and decision makers. So in this context, I'm talking about messaging being that little bit of wording that you use on social profiles. And even messaging is a networking strategy to me. It helps you to build trust without spamming or no cold pitching. And it must work because I've met you all online today, and you've probably met each other in that way. I don't teach spam. I'm not teaching unethical methods. I truly believe in God, and everything that we do, we should do ethically because it just comes back to us. So I want to leave you with actionable steps. And the main goal is lead generation, positioning, and profile conversion. Yes, while you sleep. So I want to talk about LinkedIn because when I usually deliver this, people are still so stiff, and I'm like, well, you came, what are you, what's your concern? And a lot of people still see LinkedIn as that place that's boring. People are just bragging, or they don't feel like they can portray themselves in a professional manner because they don't feel they've quite got it together. So I just like to look in the chat. How are you using LinkedIn? Please tell me, have you edited it in the last 6 months? Are you using it to find opportunities, gigs, corporate deals, raising your profile? I'm going to check the chat because I really would like to know, how are people using it at the moment? Are they using it? How are they using it? So is anyone going to leave me hang? Okay, fantastic. Great. Wonderful. So that helps me to broach and give you some tips. Now, listen, I love engagement. I really want to help you. Wonderful. So I'm going to be giving you strategies by context. The framework appears on the slides. You guys let me know which bit that you'd like to use it. Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Back to the slides. So I do have some free gifts, and everyone's been able to access them. These slides are just in case no one is able to access them. There is a QR code. If you're not able to, you may want to watch it on your device. And if not, I will proceed. You also have another free tool that I've given you. This is Process Mapper AI, and people tell you to do lots of things, you attend workshops. And I just found that when I was attending workshops, or even now when I scroll, it's really difficult to have discernment in what step to take next. So Process Mapper AI kind of breaks it down for you. Just tell it your end goal. So you also have the workbook. And again, it's just looking at things. Now, I've been consulting for 26 years, but my online business, I started researching it in around 2013. I was really scared to leave corporate. And of course, I did not want to start using my LinkedIn profile. I was scared. Now, why LinkedIn still matters in 2025? It matters more than anything. It is searchable before even your website, believe it or not. And lots of people actually comment on my profile before they even know what I do. And it really is helpful. It almost acts as a searchable business asset. People almost just go for what they want. But this visibility builds credibility. It attracts new partnerships and it opens up things like speaking opportunities. Great, we've just got a couple more people joining us. It opens up speaking opportunities, credibility. It's even given me partnerships. Hi, Donna. Just double checking for the purpose of the call. Let's just see if she's been able to be admitted. I'm going to keep going. Sorry, I don't want to mess up the flow for everyone else. So it attracts new partnerships. For me, it's opened up speaking engagements, consulting, press opportunities, academic contribution, thought leadership. It's just been amazing. That said, the inbound offers are relentless. And so you really do need to define what your goal is and what you wish to get out of it. So being on LinkedIn for me isn't optional. However, you need to be very, clever about the way you approach it. So before I really go into this, I don't know everyone's personal situation, but recently I was working with someone who was posting pictures and she hadn't told corporate that she was launching a business. So I want to say that, yes, it's a public profile and you may have nosy people on that profile or people in positions of power at your company. It's always a good idea to disclose that you are starting your own thing. So this slide is just about before you post, get clarification. So I want to do a little bit of profile housekeeping, and I'm going to take you quickly onto my profile and just to show you a little bit about what I mean about housekeeping. So you can see here, it's showing you profile views. Now under premium, it is almost a game changer, of course, and I turn it on and I turn it off. You can see here by linking your business pages, I didn't do that at the beginning. It literally was just a ghost profile. I started to add things now. Obviously, I've got my saved items, groups, newsletters, and events. I want to go over to what I see, and then I've got it just here, versus what other people see. So one of the things that I do is you want to look to the suggestions, the algorithm suggestions as to who they are waging you against, ultimately. So if you look at your profile now, that's probably who the algorithm is saying that you're like, and other things that are relative to you that people are looking at. And as I said, if someone mentions me, I'm going to be very grateful and I'm going to repost them. But this is part of the strategy. And this gentleman, I just posted about this. He attended the workshop and he's from ITV, which is a TV channel in the UK. And he didn't attend the workshop in a manner of being a pessimist. But I think that people don't understand that everybody has a positioning opportunity using LinkedIn. So I just want you to understand he is in a job. He did take the advice, because he is one of the people that approached me and advised that we need to look at the company that he works for. What's the LinkedIn strategy going to be? I mean, ITV is a TV channel, so you understand where I'm coming from. So I want to talk about one of the most special parts of the profile, which is the featured section. We'll come to this a bit more in the slides. For anything where you are positioned as a leader or you are given thought leadership, anything where somebody else talks about you, you want to feature this and pin it to your profile. I didn't do this at the beginning. Now, sometimes actually the featured section gets me more bookings or anything than I could have said myself. I contributed to some work at the UK Space Agency, and honestly, just by pinning this, the amount of times people keep visiting the profile, and you'll notice I'm going to talk about analytics and how to really use the analytics and metrics as a strategy. So one thing to be said about the featured section is so powerful, people are not using it enough, is I make sure that I write my blog and I repurpose that blog here. So if you're kind of starting out and you've got nothing, no strategy idea, you may just have content already. So utilizing the tool that I've given you, you can give it a prompt and say, I've attended the workshop, the main principles about what I'm trying to achieve. This isn't a prompting workshop, we're going to focus on optimization. But you can give it some content. So you can say, these are some recent posts I did on Facebook, or these are some posts that I really like. Could you help me to develop my profile? One of the things that people underestimate, and what I found out, is that actually LinkedIn, if set to public, is searchable by Google. But it also means that platforms like ChatGPT can search the content. So it literally, when I first started out, I was like, help me to optimize it. Sometimes it's off depending on what you want to do. But it's a public platform. So do remember that. Now, you can add links. You want to think about what I've noticed is like the first 3 to 4 links is a strategy. You can add videos. So on the bottom of mine, it's quite exhaustive. I have testimonial videos. I've got articles. I've got partner articles. I use it as a portfolio. So you can see here, I've got lots of links and it says show all featured items. So I just want to reiterate how important this featured section can be. So I had a magazine contribution. I did work with Silicon Valley, and I asked for a recommendation. Now, again, recommendations, you are allowed to pin to featured. So as you can see just here, these are amazing things. Another amazing mentor of mine, but you want to pin these kind of posts. I'm a co-author in this book. So all of these things are really helpful for you. A podcast. So I have a podcast and I've put that here. So if you are making time, really putting time in to content and work elsewhere, then index that under featured. Okay. So that's a little bit about platform profile housekeeping. So I've just taken you through the features section, and I think using the features section, you want to use things like videos. So I am about to move over to some videos. If you have a name that's a little difficult to pronounce, just to avoid any confusion, you might do things like name pronunciations. As I said, featured sections. If you're a creator, doing things like switching your mode, having a custom headline, and telling people that you're open to work. So I just want to give you an example of some of the kind of messages. Now, I don't disclose them. In the UK, we have something called GDPR. I had someone reach out and say, Kat, you blank things out. Is it fake? And I was like, no. I'm registered under ICO, which means I have to protect data. But nevertheless, I've had inboxes for speaking engagements in Dubai, Australia, Paris, South Africa. So when you start optimizing, you are guiding people to the next step. So In 2025, because the algorithm does change like all social platforms, I think that a strong profile doesn't just showcase your work, it really does position you for credibility. LinkedIn works a little bit like Facebook. So a lot of you have met me over at Facebook, and I have to be honest, I'm just almost loafing over there. LinkedIn, I'm not saying as much. I am repurposing content. I aggregate content. If you don't know what that is, I create evergreen content that's pushed out from 12 to 24 months. I want my content to continue to make sales for me while I'm doing it as I'm doing. You want to utilize your skills and education. A strong profile in 2025 will take open doors for you. So profile pictures, there's lots of things that you can do. I tend to just go for one small picture and have a strategic banner. So before, I just had a ghost banner, I call them, and they don't have anything on them. But some of the people that I've been working with and optimizing them, they may put like their website links. They may talk about what they're doing. Making it strategic almost opens doors again. People are like, oh, okay, I did a 300-person hackathon on my page. And I was going to switch it after doing another speaking engagement the other day. And I was like, what looks more powerful, So think about how you optimize that presence, and it's got to be consistent. So maybe I'm just talking here, but I feel that there's, in my opinion and my research, I was in this work experience I've done. I worked at the Biomedical Research Centre at King's College. So it was all about the brain. And so I'm an avid, still a researcher, always will be at heart. When you have this profile based on psychology, not just, it's free, you understand that there's pattern recognition. People look, they almost just blink quickly. Headline about, it needs to flow like a story. It helps micro decisions matter. Who is this person? Are they important? Do I connect? And that is what people do. I do it myself. And so why does AI generated prompts work? Because the prompts help you to craft value-based empathetic messaging. It must meet human level. That speed, so I will get an inbox and I will say, excuse me, please send a heartfelt response back. And I'm telling you, it's literally as simple as that, because I get messages and sometimes I'm like, I'm not even going to answer this. So I've literally started to archive. AI ensures that every section of your platform and your profile speaks with consistency. So I will often state on my when I'm optimizing, I will often state, is this in line with the work that I do? Is this in line with the work that I offer? Is this in line with what I'm hoping to achieve? Now, remember, again, this isn't an AI class. AI hallucinates. So sometimes I will say, these are like the top 4 people that I'm hoping to speak to. Is this in alignment? And it will come back and say no. So just think to yourself, like psychology, you need to think, so what's the psychology for you? If you're in real estate, you're not going to be heartfelt. So you may ask it to adopt a professional, authoritative tone. But that's the neuroscience that I found. So what to avoid on LinkedIn when people start using buzzwords and, have these incomplete, inactive profiles. So I was invited. So I do work with lots of, at the moment, it's across entrepreneurs, corporates and government. And I was invited to speak in a country, and I spoke to my lawyer, and it was almost like a ghost profile. And it was what they call a high threat country. So we declined. So if you're hoping to engage with people, remembering it goes the other way, if you haven't taken the time to do that, as a client, do they think you're serious? I'm always mind blown that people put more time into Facebook profiles than they do LinkedIn, when LinkedIn is a professional profile and people are probably seeking business. To me, I know we do business on Facebook, but I think people waste an awful lot of time over on Facebook when they, it's quality and gold on platforms where people are looking to exchange professional services. Other things like unedited, generated content. I'm forever going to say to someone, that's ChatGPT, isn't it? Yeah, no. Are you actually really authentic? So think about that. You don't want to be seen as that person. And then anything that basically violates their policy. So this is why I've created the tool for content and not a plugin. So it's clear to see I've purposely used this AI generated content or image because it's got what I call gobbledygook. It doesn't make sense. So don't do things like that. It's very easy to just do an AI generated headshot. I'm not endorsing this link. However, it's a good source if you're struggling, and you don't even need that. You can just go to somewhere with a nice clear background, and people are using videos. I've got a lovely outreach video the other day, and I was like, actually, you know, they took the time to do that. So breaking your bio down, just make sure that you've got a strategy behind what you do. I am not saying that you have to stick to what I've done. Again, you know, what problems you solve, it's almost obvious. But if you're open to bookings, kind of say that. So at my profile in my about at the bottom, I tell them I'm open to bookings. Now, it's not one and done. I try to optimize and kind of change it every 3 months, depending on what I'm working on or doing, or if I've got a major update. So I try to work with visibility by design. I want to get seen. I want to be referred. I just want to be remembered for the value that I'm hoping to give. There's no point in me kind of contributing my life's work. I said to a colleague the other day, do we go and get a really, really good corporate job or do we just keep going at this? So you've got to ask yourself, what are you hoping to achieve? What do you want to do? So how can you be taking things to even the next level? I'm going to be getting into strategy. Before I do that, I'm going to take a sip of water. I'm also going to check the chat. Does anyone have any questions? Is it too fast? Have I lost you? Oh, wow. Thank you, Sophia. Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, I'm going back to the slides. So if you're not on LinkedIn yet, it feels like a really great place to start, because if you're going in with a strategy, then you're going to do even better. You won't be having that almost archived, outdated info to get rid of. And to address the other comment in the chat, I won't identify you by name. Yeah, you've got to decide if you're going to work in corporate. I personally believe that both are great. So, you know, from time to time, take conscious, do what you need to do. And this class also is, if you're, as I said, I've delivered it for career optimization, getting that ascension through the career. So don't make the mistake I did at the beginning. As you can see on my LinkedIn, I've got these generic numbers. I didn't optimize it, which means if you then do it later, you lose the URL that you've shared before. Nobody told me, and that was an absolute nightmare. I changed it, and then I did a class and everyone was like, the link's broken. I was like, oh my God. So double check that. Check whether you want to be public or profile, because that's how you're searchable, and use things like the hashtags and things like that. So as I've mentioned, I'm going to start moving into strategy now. You may want to use things like video intros. So I get video intros like, hey, I do this. I actually really like them. Even sometimes people take the chance. I get a lot of outreach which says, hey, I've got a class tonight. Would you like to join? I put things like podcast episodes, media appearances, case studies, testimonials, even like, I know people like tag loads of people. I don't like to overdo that, but I do like to contribute attribution to someone if they've taken part in something, or, you know, they've mentioned me. So there's a prompt on this slide, and it is already in the tool that you've got. So if you want, I can take a copy of this and put it in the chat. But what is one thing now you've got something. You don't have to do everything. I don't want it to feel like, oh, I've got so much to do. So you can just do one thing to update your profile today. So one of the most underutilized areas of LinkedIn is articles. So I want to see if I can quickly get onto it for you and show you my LinkedIn articles. We couldn't believe it. We actually have got some stats for you. It's almost one of the quickest ways to get subscribers. I'm up to, I think, like 897, and this is just by republishing content. It got me a really great speaking gig because someone read one of the blogs or the articles and came back and asked questions. Not just that, when you start, what I should say is when you start really doing this, LinkedIn will also start to recognize you. So LinkedIn started inviting me and asking me to contribute to articles, asking me what I think. It'll be like, you are one of the top authorities in this topic. Would you contribute to this article? So not just that, it's indexed by Google. And it's not just about engagement. These keywords that you put in the article. So a tip, make sure that the articles that you write are SEO optimized. I've got lots of values. All of your content talks about something that's important to you. So a hot take, something that's maybe been in the news if you're in the media. But the point being, it can really help you. So interest section. One of the things that people don't realize is when you follow companies, influencers, and things like that, sometimes that's the things that's suggested to others when you go onto LinkedIn. And it's another way to aggregate. Aggregate means to almost crowdsource on these platforms. It's a nice, subtle way of getting a bit more visibility. So you may see that someone likes, I don't know, Ariana Harrington, because they're a public figure, lots of people follow them, but then it will start to suggest more. And in some cases, it's really helpful because it gives me sources and resources that I thought, oh, that's really good. That's helpful. So on this slide, I'm giving you another powerful tip, just to list 5 brands. And again, it's on the AI tool. You can take a picture of this and just upload it. So I want to talk to you about how to turn revenue opportunities from your analytics. So most people think, oh, who's been looking at my profile? That silly lady that I used to work with, or who is that? But I take all of the analytics, post impressions, who's searching me, to turn that into real rich insights and content opportunities. So I believe that when you have your analytics, I then decide what kind of content, who is my audience, how should I be positioning myself? I was seen more of like an entrepreneur before, and there was an energy in a space in the whole Facebook that I left around COVID times to really kind of go deeper into technology. At the beginning, I found LinkedIn very, very difficult. I just felt like I was going, hello. It was really, really difficult. So I started looking more at my metrics. And for me, I saw, okay, I'm looking at senior people who are senior. I'm just giving a strategy here. So you may look at the audience in terms of the target market, the location. Now, I say that if I'm looking at my analytics and it tells me that people are looking from a particular country, for instance, a lot of my audience are in the US, I may interchange words. So things like mom. It really helps you to think about things, even the times that you put on classes, the kind of content that you have available. It's really important. Then you want to look at the keywords that made you come up. These things are so important. So I'm going to give you a couple of my analytics this week. And it really seems quite hard. And I'm not surprised. I was booked today by a financial institute, a pension company, to deliver a keynote. And I would never have thought that my analytics would be this, not from where I evolved from. My impressions have gone up from like 12 a week And the engagements, don't worry about the engagements, because it almost shows you fake vanity engagement. So the thing about LinkedIn is as you post something and as you look at the content, it will show you who's viewed it and who's seen it. It's a little different to Facebook. I'm not worried about those. What I need to understand is, okay, do I need to speak to decision buyers? If I'm looking at bigger companies, who am I talking to? Right now, I can see that it's more smaller to medium-sized companies. So again, my language is going to talk to SMEs, enterprises. So things like this should really inform your strategy. I then take these analytics and turn them into an action. So I want it to be strategic, and then I'm going to plan. So if I'm visible, what kind of language am I going to use? I don't want to use hooks that, I'm also a mother, so I don't want to use mummy language on LinkedIn. You may be a professional. You want to think about, why was someone viewing my profile? What piqued their interest? What was the curiosity? Sometimes I'll reach out to someone. I'll be like, hey, how are you? I saw you had a look at the profile. Sometimes it's naughty competitors, and I'm like, I'll say, hey, I hope everything's okay. And sometimes people are almost shocked that LinkedIn gives that information. But for me, it just informs your content, helps you to adjust your tone. Things like low ticket offers and lead magnets, you want to adopt the language around these. So for me, yes, I'll take that from Facebook, but then I'll translate. And if you're unsure, ask the tool to help you that I've provided today. I want to position this for LinkedIn. How do I name it? So I think I'm going to keep talking to it, but I want to ask, does anyone want a break? So I've got a prompt here that kind of interjects this, so it's more of an interactive point of the workshop. So it's, which of these sections are blank on your underutilized or unused profile? That's if you're not using it. And you can just pick one of these areas that you want to focus on to attract clients as your conversion angle. So just think about what you want to do. And if you want, I can give you some feedback on that. I'll check the chat. I'll stop for 2 to 3 minutes. And then if no one needs that, I'll continue. So I'm about to check the box. Let me know if you want me to look at that. Now, brilliant is a question. Do we have a list of suggested prompts in the downloadable materials? Yes, you do. You do. And the tool is already pre-programmed with that. So if you have trouble accessing the tool, do let me know. But yes, it's all in the workbook. And if you want me to, yes, you love Ariana. Oh, brilliant. Oh, yes, I remember that. I say that because one of the reasons people look, I always like, why does Ariana always pop up as a suggestion for me? It's really bizarre. But for a time, I was one of the first also, these people that were able to self-publish on Huffington Post. And for some reason, LinkedIn keep asking me to verify my Huffington Post email. And I'm like, that's going to be difficult. So yeah, that was great. Any more questions? Don't worry about, okay. Oh, who said this is great and really helpful? Thank you so much, lovely. Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Now, as I said to you, if you've got outdated info, it is a public platform. So the first thing you can do is put into the tool I've created you, this is my profile now, based on the workshop exercises and resources, because it has everything. Please suggest the main core areas as per set out in the workshop, and it will do that for you. So a difference between a post and an article, for sure, I'll show you here. So if you go to your home, a post is a little bit like Facebook. You are going on and you are going to start a post. So I might say I'm at my workshop with some incredible founders and we're talking about Facebook. So you can do this. If you struggle, you can rewrite with AI. It's even got it embedded. Well, I've got tools on here. But then you can tell it the suggestions that I've given you today. one of the things I love is scheduling it for later. Even if you don't have a social media tool connected, I love scheduling for later. If I've been to an event, I, for safety reasons and security, don't like always to post when I'm there. So I'll do it, get it all ready, and I'll schedule it. Secondly, writing an article is here, and I do my articles. So you can see my one is here, mine's in the Martech Gap. That's where it will go. So it's all about Mar and tech. So marketing, get tech, and it's completely evolved even since we went out, since we started publishing it. But yeah, I hope that's answered the question. Okay, let me just come back to it. Any more questions? Started connecting with interest in business and interests. I see people appear on podcasts. Wonderful. That's a great strategy. So it's so important. I really like that. When I see, I used to go to Facebook. I don't do that, because what I've learned is real serious people are not on Facebook. No offense. They're not on Facebook. So it's been a real opportunity for me to get serious about myself. It doesn't mean if you're not using it, you're not serious. I didn't use it for so long. I really didn't. However, it's never too late to start optimizing, and you've got the perfect tool. So I'm going to dig in again. I think I'm going to take some water. Bear with me. Oh, we've got one more question. Okay. All right. Back to strategy. Oh, camera's off. Is it back on? Oh, yeah, wonderful. Okay. So visibility without guessing. So I've given you a bit of a checklist. You don't have to do this. You can adopt it however you wish. But for me, I will review profile views. Now, if they're relatable to what I've done and they haven't sent me a DM, I may reach out. Now, my assistant, her job, so say, for instance, I just spoke at the AI summit, and her job was to look at the other, for instance, everyone else that I was on panel with, and connect with them. So I found it bizarre when we were connecting and people were like, oh, we're connected already. And I was like, and I just remembered I was using my strategy. So build a strategy that works for you. So I look at newsletter trends. I want to understand who's opting in, who's dropping off, like what's happening here. Am I covering topics people are interested in? And I do that monthly. But profile views, definitely weekly. Call to actions have ascended. And I've realized across platforms, I'm starting to get lazy on Facebook and TikTok. I'm sounding too corporate-y. You've got to adjust it and make sure it works for you. Now, turning your LinkedIn profile into a passive income funnel is very easy when you start adopting a mindset of, I've already got this, as opposed to it's lots of work. So it's just organizing it. And if you're using things like ChatGPT, you can say to it, look, I'm at this workshop. This is what I'm doing. I believe I've already got everything. Help me organize this. And it will put everything to good use for you. So you want to look at things like contact info. I'm still optimizing. I'm getting really sad with it, because I did something the other day and I was like, oh my God, yeah, I haven't done that. Really take the opportunity to do it. So I want to give you a bit more kind of deeper insights into like setting up your own schedule around it. So for me, data is everything. So here's a few points that I look for. It may be different for you in terms of a checklist. So I need to understand these silent interest. Is it a potential lead? Is it I check competitors out? I certainly do. I want to know what they're up to. Is it a threat? Right? Because social media can be used for all reasons. So I'll do that as well. Every time I look at a search appearance, why have I come? I'll go back to refining these headlines. So remember, we were talking about this headline, and I'll come back to that. But it's about what is the main attraction point for your profile? Is it because you just come up as a really hot, high value keyword, or are people seeking you out and you're a hot opportunity? I then look at engagement trends, like, is there a particular time? Is there a particular day? I don't tend to post on Facebook the same days and times that I post on LinkedIn, and I'll change some of it. For instance, the hashtags will change. Look at the demographic breakdown. This is so important, and people don't look at this enough. And then just choose 2 to 3. I found it easier to choose 2 to 3 segments. Use your profile as a lead generation. So your services page is the opportunity for niche alignment. So don't just put out, what everyone else is doing. Check, where is the alignment here? Your project, client wins, and case studies. Lots of people are like, well, I don't know what to put on there. It's your platform. You get to use it how you want. So the students that I work with, they're like, we don't have work experience. And I created them an AI tool to translate projects into opportunities in corporate. So if you have a case study, a client win, you will turn that so that it fits the format of LinkedIn. Your experience can be written like a landing page. So benefits is now tasks. So you just have to change that. The pronoun field, lots of people that I know are using LinkedIn probably sometimes don't want to use that. So they may say DM me, and I'm saying DM me for an audit. Recommendations, screenshot and reshare. So recommendations I will use on there because they're great. I ask, if people don't want to do that, they don't have to. Again, you'll get them just sitting in the box because, as always, lots of people don't use LinkedIn. So often people don't even see them. So your profile as a lead generation engine now, to me, is about optimizing all of these key areas. So things like your services page, high intent keywords and offers, optimize searches. A few of my clients are here probably fed up of me moaning about, what are you focused on right now? The only reason I say that is if we try to spread ourselves so thin, we're actually competing for keywords against other things. Our focus isn't on those maybe 2 to 3 things that we could do very well and also rank very well in our profiles. So experience and key roles. So I get this a lot. I utilize the experience. So lots of them still say current. And I'll have a recruiter reach out and be like, are you interested? And I'm like, yes. So you need to curate your story. So I advise, I'm a fractional freelancer, which means I'm open to opportunities should they arise. And then you as I said in the earlier slide, you need to decide what you then put on your profile. If you are going to get a job, you may wish to wind down. But for me, I've kept it pretty strategic that I am a consultant, I am a freelancer. So you get the opportunity to craft and design your page how you wish. If you're working or you're in a contract, be very careful just how you're posting. And again, if you are posting, make sure the times are after 5 or before 9. So I'm going to take you to the next slide when it decides to do it. So it can be a passive income funnel. And again, in the about section, before my experience was more looking for more strategic positions. I had a number of my offers within the about. Now I've tended to move things over to the feature section. Apologies. I literally just thought about, I started using LinkedIn like this in 2019. So on my feature, you can literally go back. There is a very, very old brochure of my services. People don't even think like that. You can go back, old school, and organize your services in a brochure and add them to the feature section. Things like media experience. I've now seen people, the last class I delivered, we are now doing that as content contribution. But remember, if you're tagging a corporation, you need to ensure you're not breaching any of their terms. So I've got another activity, which it seems that nobody's doing these activities. So you can take this prompt for yourself and just look at one area that you can do right now. Do you already have a resource, a PDF, or a masterclass replay? So like I do masterclass replays on YouTube. Put them on your featured section. Remember, featured is a premium feature. And yeah, if you're a student, there are discounts, so you can get discounts. But yeah, that is a featured section. But you can publish a free article and embed it that way. That's the other way to get around it. Again, another live element is just to pick one profile section. You can do this, of course. I'm hoping I will be checking up with everyone just to make sure that they've done something. If you're really stuck, add a booking link. No one knows you're looking for clients until we tell them. So I'm surprised. Honestly, I think I had about 60 slides. In the portal, I appreciate not everyone can do this. So I do have a very easy to access offer. There's two. They're at the tabs. You can review them if you want. But the opportunity just to give you a video run through, just to help you, because it can be very daunting getting stuck. And then the opportunity to do it for you. And I've done that for 500. So you can look at that in the profile. I'll keep that price the same for replays and anyone that is on the call today. So I want to recap because we've gone through a lot. And I'm going to check the chat after this recap so I can open up some Q&A. And today I've gone through really how you can make LinkedIn a 24/7 lead generator. It isn't just online CV. I'm nowhere near some of the people, but definitely better than the 300 that I was. And it's working. Some people are looking for likes and I'm looking for conversion. And it is all of I tell you, in December, I had a client, a long-term client, who wasn't able to proceed anymore. And so I went all in on LinkedIn, and it's working. So really do use the strategic AI prompts. This visibility plan, you tailor it. Everything is about customization and tailoring this. It's not just for algorithm reach. I want you to learn how to transform LinkedIn and your profile and your previous experience and all of your work. Don't feel like it's your work after all, and it's about how you position it. And I believe, honestly, the reason why I call this AI optimization is I say this to all my clients: what can AI help me with? I am no longer going to try and do it all when AI is so sophisticated. So yeah, what's one thing you are going to do with LinkedIn this week? And I'm challenging everyone to share something with me. I've been talking for far too long. This is how you can speak to me. But of course, I've mentioned the QR code. LinkedIn does allow you to download a QR code, and that is what I share. So thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate those who attended. I am going to come back over here and just double check who's with me. What are we saying? Has anyone got anything to talk to me about? Hello. Any questions? Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, not so much a question, but I think what you've done today is remove the fear for me, because there's always been you look at it and you think, oh my gosh, where do I start? Oh my gosh, how am I going to sound? And what you've done is remove that for me anyway, that initial, fear or anxiety around how I'd be perceived. So I really appreciate this workshop. It's been really, really good. Thank you.
It's so. Thank you so much. Anyone who's here who doesn't know, I'm an introvert. So it was almost the worst thing. And when I first started doing it, there was no traction. And that's why I kind of gave that bad joke, was like, hello, anyone there? Mm-hmm. It can feel very challenging. But I truly do believe that it's your work that will do the talking. Naturally, when you focus on the work and not you, it turns it around. I have students and academics, I've got professors and Well, I've been asked to optimize the profile for a very important person in AI. They approached me at the workshop, and the first thing they said that they were so fearful. And I tell you, this person is super accomplished. Lots of people have this, so don't feel like that, and it can feel like that. So I totally understand. Anyone else? I'm just looking at this. No worries at all. You're very welcome. Sophia, I sometimes don't like to say names on replays, but I'm addressing you. You're very welcome. I know what it's like, and this is one of the reasons why I wasn't doing this behind the scenes, because obviously I am a part-time lecturer.
Yeah.
So they asked me to do, so this isn't the only one. I do a workshop called CV and career networking, because learning how to work the room is also difficult. And I honestly, I didn't realize so many people are collective in finding these things difficult. So you're very welcome. Happy to help. Any more questions? I would like everyone to tell me what they think. What they think they're going to focus on. So I would really like that. Mary?
Oh, you need to unmute yourself.
Okay.
Yes, thank
Got
you.
it.
Yep.
So I am revamping a lot of things and probably have too many plates spinning right now. So I don't know that I'm going to tackle the LinkedIn right at this moment, but I'm glad that I'm glad to see this. I'm glad to know what's going on, because I can have that in the back of my mind. I just need to get the other foundation set first. But I'll definitely come back to this when I'm ready, and then, go through it for sure.
Absolutely. No worries. Thank you. Carol?
I've already been playing with making lots of changes. And I think
already? Yes, action taker. I love that.
So it's all been sitting there. And so it's now actually to do it.
Yes. That's always the case for LinkedIn. It's one of these things. It's like that cupboard that you mean to get around to, which I have. But yeah, it is. It really is. Thank you, Sophia.
It's been really good. It's really well presented, and I've been thinking it's interesting. That's why I'm so glad I was able to attend this workshop, because I've been thinking about LinkedIn all the time, because I haven't been active on that platform. And even Carrie made a comment to me, even with what I'm doing, this is going back to even last year or maybe year before, why you're not, utilizing LinkedIn. And it's like what I posted in the chat. The challenge I had is, up until a certain point, most recently, I was known, for corporate training. Before that, it was actually accounting. Yeah. So people have this perception of who I am. And then, I'm known in terms of the wellness and writing. That's why Ariana Huffington, I know her, and I've written for different publications. And I feel like when I look at my profile, it's not really in sync of where I want to be. And
I get it.
I made it. And it's interesting how things are, because earlier this week I was saying to someone I retired from corporate training, and then just like magic today, it was yesterday, someone called me and said, "Oh, could you help us out with a short-term project?" And due to other personal stuff which was going on, I thought, okay, maybe I could do one last project. They don't know it yet, but it is going to be like my last one I'd be doing. And I like to go out with a bang of that. And
oh wow,
I was thinking about my headline, and that's why I'm wondering, Katrina, maybe I might need your help to do home.
No problem at all.
You see what I mean? Because it's so much things I have to think about, but it was helpful, especially in terms of what you said about the features. So I could put testimonial there, and I was writing down notes, and
you've got the tool, remember, and you've got the workbook. Brenda, are you able to talk? I know that sometimes we've got.
Hello. Yes, I can. It's getting dark. Hello. Thank you so much for today's session. It was phenomenal, and I'm really excited about the tool. In terms of what I'm going to go ahead with, I am also guilty of not updating my LinkedIn, and it's something as simple as that. Like I kind of forgot that actually it's a good idea to revamp your LinkedIn as you grow as a person or as things change, and things have most definitely changed for me in my business in terms of who it is that I'm looking to work with, and who I'm looking to attract now. now. So I will definitely be putting some effort into revitalizing my LinkedIn, and actually being more consistent on there is a big thing, because I am one of those guilty people who has always felt more comfortable on Facebook. But you're right, you know, if we're looking to move out and to attract more corporate clients, and, you know, just people who are actually out there looking for services, it was a good reminder to get on LinkedIn and do that. And also, you know, like you said, it's funny, you described LinkedIn as being, it's not just a digital CV. And I think for the most part, that was how it was kind of positioned in my head. But actually now to think of it as a lead generation tool, or something that can help generate revenue, that's definitely changed the way I think about it now. So thank you.
I'm so happy. So that is the end of the workshop. Thank you so much. And Mary, what time is it there?
It's 4:30 p.m.
Wonderful. And it's coming up to nighttime for us. Definitely bedtime. I'm so grateful. Thank you guys so much. Again, you're welcome to reach out. There is the tool, of course. And please, I will be checking out your profile. So I'm going to be one of your views. But please do take action. And I know that business could be better for everybody. And this definitely helps. So thanks again. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Katrina. I'll definitely be reaching out to you, because I need to come up with a strategy in terms of how I'm doing, because technically I have another business and I need to be pushing that more, you know, some people don't know, on LinkedIn, but more on Facebook in terms of what I'm doing.
That's the thing. My biggest thing is, I'm not saying don't like the Facebook. I like Facebook.
Yeah.
But LinkedIn could be where your real gold mine is. So yeah. Take care, guys. Take care. See you later.
Oh, thank you, Katrina.
Bye-bye.
Nice seeing you again, Carol.
You too. Oh, that's lovely.
Nice seeing you. You know, you see your face. Yeah, I don't know. It's just something about your energy. Yeah, it's always nice to see.
Yes, great.
Okay. And to catch up with you another time, Carol. I messaged you on Facebook. Yeah.
I'm glad that you have experienced Kat now. So that's
I know it was you. Yeah, you are right. You're the one who encouraged me to come on.
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Now, but let's talk sometime on Facebook Messenger.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Why don't we do it tomorrow if you're available? I know you're a busy woman, Carol.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I need to book with your secretary. You know what I mean? See, like,
right. Have a great one.
You too. Okay. All right. Nice to see you, Carol. Bye for now.